it's Courtney with Life for Real. Subscribe below and get hooked. Please don't overcook your fish. Hey everyone, welcome to Table Talk. So we were out fishing yesterday, caught a whole mess of whiting, but they only were biting on one particular bait. So I thought, why not go over all of the baits that we use year round, what works, what doesn't work, how we hook it, and really kind of the entire procedure of start to finish of preparing your bait, hooking your bait, and getting it out there. Clam and coquina clam fish bite. See that? You see how it's cut kind of like a triangle? You want to mimic the look of the clam. So obviously, here we go. Perfect. See that? Look. That's all you need. Okay, so first we're going to talk about the sand flea, the bait of all baits, the coveted prize, the pompano candy, sand flea. So, of course, always with your fish bites, you want to make sure that you're not cutting them too big. I see people out with huge strips of them. Really, you don't want to have huge strips of anything. You really want your bait to match your hook size, okay? So I just cut a small square of the sand flea fish bite. And this one is nice and fresh. Make sure that your fish bites stay nice and fresh as well. So you just want to hook that straight through, okay? This is just on a double dropper. All right, so that's there. And obviously when you're on the beach and you're moving and the pompano are going crazy, you're not taking this much time to do this. So then you have your sand flea. So when you find these guys, hopefully you can find them fresh on the beach or get them live in one of your local bait shops. But if you can't, or you do have them live and you have a lot left over, don't waste your bait. I mean, it's Diet Pepsi shrimp, y'all. I mean, preserve these things. So Noel Kuhn actually has a really great video out on how to preserve your sand flea so that it stays really nice and intact in the freezer. So there are many different ways to hook it. Some people hook it here and go straight through that. Some people will hook it straight through this top piece here. Some people hook it through the side. I like to do whatever lets his little leggies wiggle as much as possible. So of course, this one is not still alive, but if he were, I hook him straight through that side. It keeps the shell still nice and intact, and his little legs can wiggle, wiggle, wiggle until he gets devoured by a pompano. Fingers crossed. So that's pretty much how I bait that, but you see that it's not covering the entire hook. Guys, don't cover your whole hook. You have a specific target that you're going after. Their mouths are only so big, okay? So match your bait with your hook size, okay? That is your sand flea setup right there. Pompano killer. Get ready for the season, guys. Okay, now we're gonna go over shrimp. So typically we pick up live shrimp from a local bait shop, and we get them fresh and they're alive, and then we slowly kill them by putting them in a bag of ice. It sounds awful, it kind of is, but it works. So first thing that you need to do when you're on the beach is obviously prepare your shrimp. Get rid of that head, save it for the birds, and then you want to cut this into smaller sections. Remember, match the size of the bait to the size of your hook. So it does not need to be super big. A lot of these fish have little small mouths, okay? Get rid of that tail, and then you have all these small pieces of shrimp. Grab a piece of your favorite shrimp fish bite. Right now the green is really hot, so I'm going to use that. Get that through your hook, okay? And then again, there are many different ways that people like to put their shrimp on a hook. We have a difference of opinion in this household, but I catch more fish, so I'm right. Just kidding. So you could do it a couple of different ways. When they're fresh, you know, it is, the shell is much nicer, the meat is much more firm. You can go with the Diet Pepsi method. It does work, guys. But for this particular demonstration, we'll just do a regular piece of shrimp. So you just want it to go straight through that meat and then hook up through the shell. And see how that kind of lines up with that? So you're not overdoing the fish bite, okay? You're leaving that hook nice and open, ready to go right in the corner of a big fish's mouth. And that's one way to do it. You know, there's several other ways that you can bait your shrimp. A lot of times will go, especially mostly with the fresh shrimp, but I will go straight through this part here. And again, these aren't fresh, but, and then I normally leave myself enough so that I can circle it back through the shell, almost like I'm threading it, right? And that sucker ain't going nowhere. But again, it's just particular methods that you've used in the past. Find what's successful for you and do it. Oh, he's still alive. Next up, the blue crab. Guys, these things are like candy to everything. You just have to know how to prepare it. So obviously, if he were fresh, and he's still a little spunky, he would be clawing and jawing at you. Okay. So first things first, get these off. Okay. Watch your fingers. Oh. See, he likes the fish bites too. So you want to just get those claws off, just like that. Okay. So now that he's pretty harmless, it's time to cut these little knuckles, and this is what you're going to end up going through with the hook. So you want to make sure that you leave your knuckle intact, okay? So see that? Oopsie, sorry. Got the camera. Sorry, cameraman. I've actually seen a guy on the beach do this with a machete. It's pretty spectacular. You see that right there? That's what you want. That is the knuckle. The knuckle of all knuckles. Okay, so a lot of people will cut this in half and pull it off. You can manhandle it and pull it off like this. It's really just up to you, whatever your fingers can handle that day. So I'm gonna do it this way. Maybe. Come on, Courtney, give it the heat. Give it the heat. Much easier to do when they're fresh too, by the way. Okay, there we go. Look at all of that amazingness. Guys, you see that? Whew! That looks like dinner to something yummy in the ocean. Okay, so now you want to actually make your knuckle. Oh, whatever. So I cut straight down the middle. Man, this is juicy. Oh, watch out, cameraman. Okay, look at all that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so then you have your knuckles here, right? So you want to keep those intact when you're cutting. So So see all of this? Keep that intact. Whew. Again, much better when they're fresh. But you wanna go through, you can probably get 6, 7, depending on how big the crabs are that day, 8 baits out of it. So we'll see here, just try to give you a good example. So see that knuckle there? That's what you want to put your hook through, okay? And on this one, I don't put the fish bite on first. I put it on last to keep the crab knuckle on. But you go right through that. That is tougher than nails, guys. So you put that on. Then I normally put a crab fish bite. There's several different colors, kinds. But I will put this on just to keep that crab piece kind of floating and away from the actual end of the hook. Okay? And that is some bull red candy, pompano candy, drum candy, whiting candy. See where I'm going there, right? But there you go. There's a crab knuckle. So the last thing we're going to talk about is the clam. Honestly, this bait has really been producing some great fish lately. If you can find fresh, live clam, use it. Don't be afraid of it. It's super easy to prepare. So I'm going to use the coquina clam fish bite today because that has also been killing it. And when you cut these, so look at these little clams. These little clams, that is what the fish are eating. So you want to try to make it appear as if, look at that, it's like he belongs. Welcome to the family, buddy. But you want it to be that same size, okay? It doesn't need to be anything crazy big. Again, match your bait to your hook size. Big key there. So go ahead and get your fish bite on the hook. Okay, you want it on the hook. Perfect there. Now we're going to prepare the clam. And it's a little messy. It gets a little messy. So highly recommend doing this on the beach. But we're here at Table Talk, so we're gonna do it right here. Use 2 clams. You can use the side of your beach cart. I use 2 clams. So you just take them, literally, and they're alive. They're closed, okay? Ready? One of the clam shells will puncture the other one, and then you just start taking off the pieces. Like I told you, it is messy, so you can't be afraid to get a little messy. I normally use the pliers to pull all of these pieces of shell off. Just makes it easier, helps it sit in the cooler a little bit better. Sorry, I know that noise is very annoying. Here, we'll just manhandle it here. There we go. Okay. So you have all of the shell out. So that's what it's gonna look like when you get it open, okay? This little nugget of wonder, see that? It is firm. That is your gold mine right there. So typically what I do, again, you see the shape of the clams, okay? And if you've never seen a clam come out of its shell, it looks really freaky. I highly recommend Googling it. But we'll take this one piece, and you can make this 2 baits, certainly. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna make this 2 baits. So I just take off that top portion there, and then you've got the 2. All of this portion here in the middle is still really good bait. So save this in your cooler. So you got 2 really nice pieces of bait here, okay? You've already got your clam fish bite on the hook, matching the hatch right there. Look at this, okay? So go ahead and get that piece of clam on there. Again, a million ways to skin a cat. A million ways to do your bait. You do what works for you, what is successful for you. You can do one hook. If it's a bigger piece, sometimes I'll thread it like I did that piece of shrimp earlier, just so that it doesn't hit that top of that hook, because you want that to be able to go right in the corner of the fish's mouth. See, it's pretty simple. You just gotta be okay with getting a little messy, because that's what the clam will do to you. All right, guys, we're done with table talk today. I'll see you later.